Okay.
Okay.
We're on Origins. Let's go.
Have you ever wondered how Adventures from the Bedrooms of African Women got its name? Well, I'm here to tell you. "2026 makes 17 years of Adventures from the Bedrooms of African Women's existence. When I got pregnant in 2004 out of wedlock, one of the first people I wrote to was my grandmother. In those days, we used to write letters to one another, and sometimes we would call on those little phone cards that would cut you off before the time ran out or before the conversation finished. And that year, I had to write the most difficult letter to the woman who I held in such high esteem. I told her that I had gotten pregnant, and I apologized to her. I waited for her response, and when it finally came, there was absolutely no judgment. She said, "My dearest Abena, you will experience lots of discomfort in the first 3 months, but then after that, you'll be fine." And she went on to tell me how my first, second, and third trimester would go. There was no judgment, there was no condemnation, there was only love. And so it got me to thinking, maybe all of the things that we had heard about African women and their hatred for out-of-wedlock pregnancy and all the purity culture actually wasn't true. Maybe there was something deeper behind it within our individual cultures. And so I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to write a book. And I'm going to call it Adventures from the Bedrooms of African Women. And the reason, or how I came up with that name, is you remember that movie, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, and they would jump on the bed and they would travel all around and they would have all these different adventures? That's how I coined the name. I told somebody at the time whom I was very close to and whom I trusted about my idea, and they said, "You know, Malika, if you say you're going to write a book, you'll never do it." And I believed them because this was somebody whom, like I said, I loved and trusted. So I never wrote the book. And life went on, and my grandmother lost hers, and the book never came to fruition. But what I did do was lend the name to the site and the blog that you now know as Adventures. And that's the story behind how Adventures got its name. Now, one of the things I've been asked when I tell that story or when I tell it in private is, "Well, Malika, why would you let somebody convince you that you would never do this?" The thing is, when you don't really have confidence in yourself and you believe other people's perceptions more than you believe your perception of yourself, it's easy to abdicate your power. And if you're listening right now and you're in that position, trust me, you have all the resources, you have all the aptitude, you have all the fortitude that you need to make your dream come true. Simply put, don't listen to them. Even though I never got a chance to write the original book that I had hoped for, I encourage myself knowing that the new adventures can still achieve those aims. And what are those aims? Those aims are to let people know that we do have a culture, that we do have our own practices, and that even though this is the present, one day we will be the ancestors, we will be the elders. We are building a culture right now that other young girls and women will learn from. And while I couldn't gather that particular set of information, I can infer. And from that inference, I can build a better future for my daughters, for your daughters, for yourself, for myself, for all women and all non-binary folks, and all people who care about Blackness and the advancement of African people. So that's the way we're going to do it moving forward. We're going to expand our horizons. We're going to talk more about what makes us us, and we're going to do it loudly and proudly.